Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Pippin Ballers. Another come from behind victory at the Asian Cup for South Korea. There's lots to talk about in that exciting drama filled game. So let's jump right into it, starting with point number one. New game, same mistakes from Jurgen Klinsmann. So Jurgen Klinsmann brought out a 4-2-3-1. I personally think it's a 4-4-2 for Korea. It was Cho Yun-woo in net, Kim Tae-won as the right back, Kim Min-jae and Kim Young-won as the center backs, and Seo Ryung-woo as the left back. Centrally, it was Park Young-woo and Hwang In-bum. Out wide, it was Lee Gang-in on the right and Hwang Hee-chan on the left. And like I said, guys, it was Cho Gyu-sung and Sunny up top, Sunny playing more as a second striker. So I said this in my review of the Saudi Arabia game. I warned Jurgen Klinsmann not to bring back Cho Gyu-sung into the starting 11, but Klinsmann, after seeing Cho's game-tying goal against Saudi Arabia, brought him back into the starting 11. Now, unsurprisingly, Cho Gyu-sung was very ineffective against the towering Australian center backs. The Australian center backs are huge. They're tall and they're physically strong, but they're slow. So I said it might be more effective for Sonny to play up top and to have faster, more technical players surrounding him. But nonetheless, Klinsmann for some reason has this infatuation with Cho Gyu-sung, who's not a bad player by any means, but against this slow, physically imposing Australian defense, I was hoping for a smarter tactical change. Also, bringing in Cho Gyu-sung meant that we were outnumbered in the midfield yet again. I felt so bad for Hwang In-bum, who did make that mistake to give Australia the lead, but at the same time, this guy is nursing a knock. You saw him come out early, a little bit early against the Saudi Arabia game in obvious pain. He still played the full time, against in all of our group stage matches. He also played more than 100 minutes in the match against Saudi Arabia. He's absolutely gassed. And to ask him to cover the entire midfield alongside Park Young-woo, who's quite slow himself, it's asking a lot. And I don't think that the mistake from Hwang In-bum was due to him being a poor player. I think it's due to fatigue, due to that split second decision making that was poor, and that's due to him being tired. And I don't want him to, get too much criticism from the media and from fans. I genuinely think that this two midfielder system that Klinsmann is running out there game after game is really tiring our midfielders. And other than that, guys, unsurprisingly, other than the really great goal that was called back for offside, where Lee Gang-in switched it over to Seo Ryung-woo, who passed it to Hwang Hee-chan, who scored, we created nothing in the first half. We had 70% possession, zero total shots, zero shots on target, zero big chances, and 284 passes that were completed. It's unsurprising. The display, I'll give it to Klinsmann. It was better than what we saw in the first half against Saudi Arabia. But again, Klinsmann's lack of tactical ideas and instructions, whether it's building out from the back or in the final third, those small triangles, the promised set patterns of play that build space, that opens up space for our attackers, there's none of that in Klinsmann's system. So it makes it really difficult for us to consistently carve out chances, quality chances in the final third. Like I said, we eventually conceded due to In-bum's error, and we can't keep starting games like this. We can't keep chasing games from behind like we did against Saudi Arabia and Australia. And we did miraculously come back in those two games. But relying on stoppage time equalizers, it's going to come back to bite us when the stakes are the highest, going forward in the semifinals and the finals. It's just unsustainable football. So point number two, second half substitutes, player shoutouts, and two-hon football. So Klinsmann, for all his faults and shortcomings, he did make the right substitutes to change the match. He took off Cho Gyu-sung for Lee Jae-sung, finally moved to the 4-3-3 formation with Sunny up top. He brought in Hong Yeon-seok for Hwang In-bum, who was visibly tired, and Yang Hyun-jun for Kim Tae-won. And guys, I called it. Yang Yun-jun was the big difference maker. I said it in our podcast. I said it in our previous videos. He was the super sub, and he has that ability. In the first half, I thought that when Kim Tae-won was on the right, I thought that our attack was over reliant on this left side here with Seo Ryung-woo and Hwang Hee-chan. You could tell that the Australians were comfortable even with Lee Gang-in, because if they double up and triple up on Lee Gang-in, there was no way that Kim Tae-won, who was on the right, was making any chances for us. And that made our attack super predictable, super easy to defend. But when Klinsmann brought in Yang Yeon-jun, as he played him as a right wing back, and immediately he was creating chaos. He was running at defenders, and like I said, the Australian defenders are slow and slow to react as well. So if a quick, technical, pacey winger, Yang Yeon-jun, who was playing as a wing back, is running at them, they're not going to be able to defend him, and that created space. That created opportunities for Lee Gang-in, Sunny, and Hwang Hee-chan, and it made our attack a lot more unpredictable. They didn't know if we were going to attack them on the left or on the right, and Yang Eun-jun to me was one of the big difference makers, and it was a big reason why I think our attack looked much better in the latter stages of the second half. Second shout out, guys, Cho Yeon-woo. How good was this guy yet again? I'm saying it right now. Without Cho Yeon-woo, we would have lost this game. 53rd minute, Australian forward had a free header. Cho Yeon-woo saves it. And just a couple of seconds later, he also somehow manages to save this chance. I'm telling you guys, if we go down 2-0, we weren't going to come back. Against this really well-organized, compact Australian defense, there was no chance. Even the likes of Sunny, Kangin, Hee-chan, they couldn't save us going, if we were 2-0 down. Cho Yeon-woo did it for us against Germany in 2018. He did it for us against Saudi Arabia just a few days ago, and he came through again today. In my opinion, he is one of the MVPs of this game. Just a crazy good keeper. Maybe not as good with his feet compared to Kim Sung-gyu, but I honestly I'm not feeling the effects of missing Kim Sung-gyu, and I am very, very comfortable and confident with Cho Yeon-woo going forward in the semifinals and finals. And finally, guys, Sunny. Don't care what anyone says. Don't care if Korea don't win the Asian Cup. Asian GOAT debate. Greatest of all time. It's over. He is that guy. Now I want to share a couple of quotes with you guys. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this was after the match against the Saudis. Seo Ryung-woo said, Sun told us that even if we don't score, it's okay, because he will take responsibility for everything. I thought we really aren't losing then if he's saying this. And then this was after today. Hee-chan really wanted to take it. The coach wanted me to take it, but I saw how much he wanted it. As the captain, rather than being greedy, I wanted to show how important Hwang Hee-chan is to our team. Now I thank him for scoring. Look, forget the fact that he won the penalty to tie the game today. Forget the fact that he scored that ridiculous free kick goal to win the game. He's the leader of this golden generation. He's the face of Korean football. And he's not afraid to take responsibility. He's a once-in-a-generation type player, and he's South Korean. And the fact that he's the captain of Tottenham Hotspur, one of the biggest teams in the Premier League, and the captain of South Korea, it just brings me so much pride, so much joy watching him. And I really hope, you guys know how much I wanted Klinsmann gone. I even wanted I said I want us to lose to Saudi Arabia, because I can't see Klinsmann watching this national team any further. But seeing this passion from Sunny, the Tuhon football, just the desire, you can see it in their faces, you can see it in their eyes, how much they want it. I can't not cheer for them. Honestly, it was brought to tears when he scored that free kick goal earlier today. He's our captain. He's leading us to this Asian Cup. We gotta get behind him fully. And the last point, looking ahead to Jordan. Unfortunately, Kim Min-jae picked up his second yellow of the tournament, so he's going to be unavailable for Jordan. Everyone else looks to be available, and the good news is that we actually have 3 days of rest until the semifinal match. Look, it's not enough. We played back-to-back 120 minutes. 3 days is not going to be enough for our players to fully recover. But Jordan also played today. They also played a tough match against Tajikistan. And so I think that we are going to be in a much better way physically than we were coming into this game against Australia. And Klinsmann, please, please, please stop starting Cho Gyu-sung. I would love to see Klinsmann put out a 4-3-3 with Sonny up top again. And one thing that I want to suggest to Klinsmann is playing Kangin as the left central midfielder and the Metsala role like he did against PSG. Now, to define the Metsala role that Luis Enrique uses Kangin in at PSG, it's the widest player of a midfield three who combines the role of a central midfielder and a winger. It's how Enrique uses Lee Gang-in at PSG. And to me, guys, I thought Lee Gang-in looked a lot more effective on the left in both the Saudi Arabia match and the Australia match. I think he's comfortable anywhere he plays, but for us, we really need that spark in the midfield. We really need an extra body in the midfield. Lee Gang-in was lighting it up for PSG in this role. So if Klinsmann, maybe gets a recommendation from Chaduri, from anyone, to have Lee Gang-in starting in this role, I would love to see that. So this is a lineup that I kind of came up with that I want to see against Jordan. Choyonu in net, Seorungu left back, Kim Tae-won right back, Chung Sung-yeon in for Kim Min-jae at center back, and Kim Myung-won retains his place. Although, guys, Park Jin-sup I thought looked really great out there today, so he's one to keep an eye on. And it looks like Klinsmann does like Park Jin-sup a lot, so this could be a surprise inclusion to the starting 11. I thought Park Young-woo was all right today. His weaknesses are still there. He's slow. He's not that great defensively, compared to even a Chung Woo-young senior. And his passing doesn't make up for it either. So I want to see Hwang In-bum in the CDM role. He does it for his team, his Serbian team, Zvezda, and he played this role against Man City in the Champions League, and he did it quite well. So I want to see Hwang In-bum at the deepest lying role. Lee Jae-sung and Lee Gang-in, like I said, guys, as the attacking midfielders in the midfield three. On the left, Hwang Hee-chan, who was brilliant again today against Australia. Sonny up top, and either Yang Hyun-jun or Chung Woo-young on the right wing. Chung Woo-young would be the safer pick. We know what he offers, a crazy amount of work rate. He's not the best technically, but you're going to get a shift from him, and he can be the defensive winger. But the tantalizing upside of Yang Hyun-jun is hard to ignore for me. Like I said, guys, he's direct. He has the technical capability to beat his man and create space that way. And if we have two 1v1 specialists in Yang Hyun-jun and Hwang Hee-chan creating space out wide, there's naturally the Jordanian defenders are going to be drawn to them, which creates space for Sonny, Lee Gang-in, and Lee Jae-sung to attack, and even Hwang In-bum from deep. So the more 1v1 dribbling specialists that we have, the more success, the more dynamism we're going to get in the final third. So this is something that I think Klinsmann should really consider. Please, 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 please don't start Cho Gyu-sung. I think he's the perfect super sub. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but for the semifinals and finals, we can't start him. He's too much of a liability because he takes away from the midfield. I don't know. Is Klinsmann going to risk it again and rely on his players to bail him? I sure hope not. And I don't want Klinsmann to underestimate Jordan. They're in the semifinals for a reason. They played a very, very difficult match against us in the group stages, and they have that individual talent going forward to really hurt us on the counter. Remember, guys, we were down 2-1 to them going into half in our group stage match against them, and they're just a really difficult Middle Eastern team. And we know Middle Eastern teams, we experienced it against Saudi Arabia. If they score first, they are going to park the bus. They are going to play Chindachukwu, waste time, and everything is going to be super annoying. So we got to be first defensively stable, have that midfield balance and stability, and then hit them with our front exciting front three. So, guys, super excited that our boys made it to the semifinals. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on the Australia match and then also what you guys would like to see in the match against Jordan. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe and like the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.